Hello, mortgage fans. Well, in years gone by, I wouldn't be doing a market update on a Sunday. I suspect I'd probably be in a pub garden with all my friends trying to hunt down tickets for the final in this gloriously sunny day, which would probably lead to drinks and phone calls I regret at a later date. But maybe I'm getting a bit older, maybe I'm getting a bit wiser, but my plans for this evening are to watch the game with the family at home, so it should be pretty cool. Really looking forward to that. Because someone said to me this point, I actually thought it was quite poignant, so I'll sort of share it with you, is that in years to come, you will ask, where were you for the game? And for me to say with my wife and my daughters, that's pretty cool. And I sort of want to cherish that experience. And also actually want to remember the game, because I've been to many events over the years where that isn't always the case. So maybe a bit older, maybe a bit wiser. Let's hope so. Now, obviously, like the England football team, we're seeing lots of things we haven't seen in the industry for a very long time indeed. So hopefully this gives you a little respite to take your mind off the game, and I'll talk you through some of the things we're seeing. Now, the first major point is we are seeing the lowest mortgage rates ever. Last week, we saw HSBC join the sub 1% club, with a market equaling 0.94% 2-year fixed rate. Has a £999 fee with a free survey, but you do require a 40% deposit. So there's now quite a few lenders in that sort of area, so that's pretty staggeringly cheap. But what's really encouraging for me is that they also cut down their rates with a 15% deposit. They went to 1.99, I believe. Not quite market leading. I believe the Leeds Building Society at 1.97% are the best with a 15% deposit, but that's still really cheap, really, really cheap. And then if you look at the top end of the market, sort of with a 5% deposit, where the pricing is there now, I believe Barclays are market leading with a 3.49% 2-year fixed rate. Now, if you compare that to what we saw when 95% lending came back in late March, early April, I believe the best rate was a 5.08% from Aldermore. So that's come down massively. I mean, 1.5% in a few months' time. And that spread is now just starting to decrease between the very best mortgage rates when you've got a 40% deposit or more, and now even up to having a 5, 10 or 15% deposit, those rates are coming right down. Now, on top of rates just coming down, more lenders are coming into the market. So this is classic dynamic I've been talking about a long time now, is that people now have more options available than they did 6 months ago. So obviously gone through this big event with the stamp duty ending, and there's going to be a lot of talk, in fact I'll touch on it now as well, with what impact that's had on house prices. I can't see house prices going backwards for the rest of the year, because if more people can buy, and we're seeing just an absolute massive lack of supply on stock, it's only going to keep certainly prices moving forward. They're going to go sort of racing forwards, but it's certainly not going to go backwards, not in my opinion anyway. And to back that point up, actually, I got some stats out from eServe, which are, I think, the largest property surveyors in the UK, certainly one of the biggest out there anyway. And they believe that annual house prices now are growing at 10.7% annually, which takes the average house price in the UK to £336,247, to be precise. That's a 0.8% increase in just 1 month. And it's also the fastest rate of growth we've seen since February 2005. So this is my point really around, we're sort of seeing some sort of long-term trends being broken, some old records going as well. So we're now seeing the biggest rates of growth we've seen since pre-crash. That's quite interesting. Now, touching it with the lower interest rates and criteria loosening, so that trend seems to continue. Now, as ever, that's a national view, and it is wildly different. So just to pick up the two ends of the spectrum. So the region with the highest level of growth is the Northwest. That's growing at 17.3%, and London is the slowest at 1.2%. Ironically, both of those house prices in that area are down last month, ironically, at 1.1% down in the northeast and 0.6% below down in London as well. So even once you factor that in, the annual rate of growth is still quite positive, and that's the point I was trying to drive at. Like any major indices, if you look at the FTSE, there's always ups and downs, so you can't really look at it day on day, week on week, month on month. I'm far more interested in looking at things on year. That's probably a far better way of looking at things. So that sort of regional outlook is probably not going to change. It has been that way for a lot of while with the UK. So depending on where you live is sort of what's relevant to you. But it was interesting. Richard Sexton, he's the director of eServe, was making some very similar noises myself about sort of the trend in house prices and what it may turn out to be. So to